What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, that piece of crap over there, all the greats, plus you get access to our nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best odds are at, and most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? It's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my bets each and every day, all up in there, and I realized, Dino, I think I misspelled your handle wrong. Is it 78904?
Oh, dude, good try, good effort. I see the tweet right now. It's DFS_almanac, and I understand it's an honest mistake because different backdrop. I'm not rocking the almanac behind me, but yeah, Dean78904 is my handle for DFS, but not for Twitter specifically. But you probably can find me that way too.
Yeah, no, I fudged it up. I figured out how to get the at there to get you tagged in this, and
I was impressed, and then I realized that's actually not me.
yeah, silly Dean 78904. I did get the number right. So, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. It's a 15 gamer, man. The NBA, we're not messing around. Big boy slate, as big as it gets. Until we get to Seattle and Vegas as expansion teams, we're never going to have a slate bigger than this. Yeah, man, a lot going on in the association. Of course, no basketball tomorrow in lieu of the election.
That's why. All right, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the arenas are actually going to be holding people go to vote as well. I think that's in part some of the reasons, but yeah, and every single game, I'm not sure if you noticed this, Grant. Every single game tonight is 15 minutes apart as far as tip off. And like they're giving away, if you guys don't have League Pass, that's for free. Yeah, you can anybody can watch tonight on the app for free. And I feel like they're gonna do some sort of like get out the vote thing. I imagine that's in part as well. But yeah, the NBA is not messing around tonight. It's 8:30 game, 8:30 tip off here in Miami on the East Coast because there's a bunch of East Coast games. That's when the Heat fans show up, actually, so it works out perfectly.
Yeah, that is true. And we also got a football game. I'm going to just get a start off with football because I think you're going to like all three of my bets. I only have three. But Isaiah Likely, I don't know if you know this, but Mark Andrews is out.
I do know this. My season-long team knows this. I'm sure you care about that.
My season-long team is better than your season-long team. That's beside the point. Isaiah Likely, over 40.5 receiving yards, minus 110 at FanDuel. How is this line so gosh darn low?
What was the number? I'm sorry, I was talking over you.
40.5.
That seems a little bit low.
It's very low.
I mean, we haven't seen a lot, obviously, but likely in doses when he gets opportunity, he certainly looks the part. He looks legit. He's not a clone of Andrews, obviously, but he's going to be playing that role.
Well, and also no Bateman in there. Like, he's going to be the number one.
I like it.
Yeah, just absolutely hammer that. And then also Kamara over 4.5 receptions, minus 130 over at Betfred. I think it's minus 140 at some places. I'd still take it at most other places. I love this bet. So minus 131 over at Caesars. Nice.
I don't have the stat offhand, but just I did see. Can't remember who tweeted it out, but it's been a drastic difference for receptions for Kamara when Andy Dalton's been the quarterback. Dalton loves dumping the ball up to Kamara, so I like the over on that. He keeps feeding him.
First two games with Winston, 4 targets for 3 receptions, 7 targets for 2 receptions. Since Dalton's taken over, 6-6, 9-6, 9-7, 10-9, just through the roof with Dalton.
Well, that's as far as he can throw the ball these days, so it works out perfectly.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's also taking a hit on Chris Olave. I'm taking the under of 5.5 receptions, minus 120 over at FanDuel. He has hit the over one time, and that was in the super high-scoring Arizona game that they had. He's only hit the over one time with Dalton under center, has only had over 7 targets one time. So if you're going to tell me a guy's going to get 7 targets from Andy Dalton and the under is 5.5 receptions, I'm going to take it every time.
Yeah, I have no issues with that. Don't know what hot take.
All right, let's start off with some basketball. Paolo Banchero over 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. This line has moved drastically. I still like it at 35.5 points, rebounds, assists. Let's see exactly where that's at. Banchero, he's been absolutely fantastic. I don't know how to spell. I do know how to spell Palo, I think. Yeah, you can still get it at 35.5 at minus 105 on the over at MGM. I'd still take it there. It's moved to minus 140 at 35.5 over at DK, minus 127 over at Caesars. So it's moving. It's at 37.5 over at FanDuel. Just ridiculous amount of movement on this. I'm hammering it. I assume you have no problem with that.
Yeah, I love Banchero. He's been awesome so far, certainly playing the part. Matchup against Houston. Houston plays fast, and not only they play fast, they play terrible defense, which is a perfect combination. Fourth worst as far as defensive rating. Their pace, I believe, is about 5th or 6th in the league. 7th. You want to get all technical. So they play fast. They play terrible defense. Banchero runs the show there in Orlando. Love it.
Yep. And I realized when I posted it online, I'm a dummy, and I accidentally put under.
Oh boy. That changes everything. How does that work now?
So I have to go in there and change it. So Jalen Suggs under 6.5 assists. He's had 8 potential assists per game over the last 3 where he's been hitting the over on this number. So don't expect that to continue. He's been just getting lucky. 7.3 assists per game or a potential assist per game. So don't expect that to continue. Easy under there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess again the matchup. I think you have to adjust to some degree. I'm looking at how many assists Houston gives up in the year. You know what's interesting? They've been terrible defensively, and maybe this gives a lot of transition. I'm not really sure why this would be. Houston's given up the 2nd least amount of assists this year per game, 20.1. Again, this would be small sample stuff, but it's a huge, like the variance. San Antonio number 1 at 29.8. It's a big difference, 29 versus 20. But yeah, that's of note, worth monitoring. But I like your thought process, though. Just he's been lucky with his potential assist, and he's just that rate of what's hitting at 71% is not going to continue.
Yeah, no, it's just a bad overall number there. Ivy under 4.5 rebounds, minus 108 over at FanDuel. Isaiah Stewart over 11.5 points, minus 110 over at MGM. Cade Cunningham over 21.5 points, minus 118 at FanDuel. And here's one that's just a terrible overall line. SGA over 28.5 points, minus 105 over at MGM. Just an awful line. There's no reason that it should be at 28.5 in this spot here. I wonder what we have projected for him. I didn't even check. But Shea is just doing everything in the offense. A matchup versus Detroit is a solid one. This game should be close. Am I missing something here?
Detroit, the worst offensive team in all of basketball. I mean, if you're missing something, the worst defensive team. They have the worst defensive rating. If you're missing something, it's like Giddey's back. Giddey does take away some of his usage. But SGA still is kind of a Mr. Do-It-All. Both these teams, theoretically, I don't want to get into the whole tanking thing, but these two teams will be in the tankathon near the end of the season. But, it's obviously super early if there's any sort of thought on that. But I imagine standard minutes. But, obviously the rest of the OKC pieces, who the heck knows with JRE and, Williams and Muscala. We're not talking about them, but I don't know. 28.5. Well, what do we have as far as our projection for total points?
We have them at 30.45, so we're way over on that.
Okay.
And it's moved to 29.5 over at PointsBet and over at Caesars, so you can still get it. I think it's moved to 29.5 almost everywhere, or you can get it at minus 125 over at DK.
It's a pretty big number, but he should still beat it.
Yeah, he hits it pretty consistently. Tyrese Halliburton over 33.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 110 over at FanDuel. I believe that line hasn't moved, but MGM has it at that. Still, every other place I think has moved. Halliburton, every other place is moving drastically. Minus 140 at DK, minus 142 at Caesars. It moved to 34.5 over at FanDuel. So MGM just hammer this line. They have not caught on yet. Halliburton has been crushing this constantly throughout the season, and he gets a great matchup here versus New Orleans in what should be a high-scoring game. 5.5 point spread, decent total here. I'm hammering the over.
I don't know if I agree it's a great matchup because New Orleans, man, I assume he's going to get Herb. Herb Jones is tough. I'm not somebody that runs away from quote unquote bad matchups, but Herb Jones is a legit, really good defender.
I mean, he might also get. I don't know if Herb Jones matches up too well against him. He might end up. Herb might be on Buddy Hyde.
Maybe, I'm not sure. And like this, I'm not again. There's positionless basketball and there's transition and all that kind of stuff. They don't automatically get matched up with those guys, but I'm not sure. I like Halliburton in theory. If this game stays close, it's probably because Halliburton is doing his thing. But
yeah. I mean, who knows? I guess we'll see. Random other bets from that game: Zion under 7.5 rebounds, McCollum under 4.5 rebounds, Ingram under 23.5 points, Zion over 24.5 points, Zion under 3.5 assists. They're all Buddy Hyde under 4.5 assists. Sorry if I'm zooming through things. We have so many bets. There's 15 basketball games and the football game, and I have an injured puppy next to me that I might need to take to the vet. So, yeah.
Just I think it's interesting that two of the best three rebounding teams are in this game. New Orleans and Indiana are 2-3 when it comes to rebounding percentage. You're talking about rebounding totals, and I was just looking at team rebounding. Both were good rebounding on both sides.
That's why I have the under on McCollum and Zion. Devin Booker over 26.5 points, -120 over at MGM, over 36.5 points, rebounds, assists, -105 over at DK. He's just been a walking bucket this year. I know he's still pissed about, what was it, last night or two? I think it was Saturday night. He missed by the hook, getting like 1 or 2 points in the fourth quarter. I had over 25.5. He ended up with 25 and still not happy about that, but going right back to the well. They continue to keep his projection a little bit too low, or his line a little bit too low. Booker has just been amazing every single night pretty much, and I'm going to keep hitting this because he's going to keep doing his things. I know it's not a great matchup versus Philly. I know it's supposed to be a low-scoring game. I don't care.
Yeah, Philly's just really slow is the problem. They're one of the slowest teams in the league. But like if you look at like matchup-wise, I don't know who they're going to throw on him, but like certainly Maxey can't handle him, and I don't think Milton. Like he's going to be able to do what he wants to do, right? And there's not like a direct defender. It's like, oh man, Maxey's going to lock him. No chance. Milton, like I don't know who they put on him, but I think he plays fine. It's just a couple less possessions are lost because Philly plays pretty slow.
Yep. I have Bridges over 12.5 points, -120 at MGM. For some reason, they haven't moved it. Every other place is at very heavy juice on the over or moved to 13.5. MGM's been a little bit slow, clear mispricing. Giannis over 31.5 points, -113 over at FanDuel. Giannis has been fantastic so far this season. Just every single game has been getting it done. We currently have him projected for 33.5, I think. Let's see. Giannis, 33.69. Nice. Going up against Atlanta, solid overall matchup. Great spot here.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him a fake injury last game because it was a back half of back-to-back. I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. He actually tweeted out like he was messing around in the court with his brothers, or one of his brothers is his teammates, right? Thanasis, I think. The other one is he still in the Lakers? Not sure.
Yeah, he was on the Lakers. I think he's still on the Lakers.
Point is, like, whatever sort of injury they gave him last time to rest him, he's fine. So don't let that be any concern or apprehension. I don't like betting under on Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's a big number, obviously, but he's awesome. He's playing as good as he ever has. Incredible.
Yep. Steven Adams under 2.5 rebounds. Steven Adams under 6.5 points. He's questionable now, so knows if he'll play. Desmond Bane under 3.5 assists. Tatum over or under 4.5 assists +112 over FanDuel. Dylan Brooks, I keep hitting this line over 2.5 rebounds -115. He doesn't like to pass, but he'll get some boards. Horford, I keep hitting this and losing. Under 7.5 rebounds -117. Aldama over 4 or over 8.5 points. The volume's been there every single game. He just hasn't shot well. And then who's the best player in the league, Daniel?
Well, it's funny you say that because you bet under on the best player in the league, Desmond Bane.
Under assist. He's going to shoot the ball. He knows no one else can shoot the ball as well as him.
So he's going to hit threes. He's just not going to pass the ball.
No, he's not. He's going to get over 20.5 points. I think we currently have him projected for like 23. Let's see. Bane, loading, enhance. In any case, he's been just fantastic. 23.46 points.
Your
way over.
Your Horford under may not directly, but some way is tied to Steven Adams being healthy or not.
Yep. I'm not sure. It's line's probably down right now. The Steven Adams news just came out, so it is what it is. I already bet it, so I can't, and I'm not going to cash out. Cashing out's just dumb.
What if you can get all of it back, 100%?
There are certain sites that will let you do that.
I feel like I've seen that before.
Yeah, MGM generally does. But yeah. Total over 23.5 points, rebounds, assists. Did pretty well going up against what's his name? Jokic last time. Solid. And then there's someone in chat that I have to block. Solid overall line, -120 DK. I still got Jokic over 44.5 points, rebounds, assists at -115 over DK. And I also took the under of 12.5 rebounds, averaging 11.1. He had 6 in this matchup versus Pirtle last time. What do you think about that one? It's a big line.
I don't have a specific thought on that, but I think it's just interesting how Jokic's rates. Last year he was completely insane, and they've fallen back a little bit. Like, they're still really, really good, and by his standards, they're not incredible. They're kind of a decrease. They're taking a hit, but anybody else, they're awesome. But obviously the rise of the return of Jamal Murray, the return of Michael Porter Jr., Bones Highland improving incrementally, the addition of Bruce Brown and KCP, just a better team around him, and he's just taking a slight hit. Again, Jokic is still amazing. He's still awesome. I love Jokic, but I'm not sure if he fully adjusted to, I guess this is his role now. Like, he's still really, really good, but just a slight hit of what we had last year, which was insanity.
Yeah. He was. I mean, definitely taking a bit of a hit with everyone, but yeah. Pirtle over 8.5 rebounds. Devin Durant is what I have listed there. It's actually Kevin Durant. Under 46.5 points, assists, rebounds, -106 over at FanDuel.
Man,
number's too high. I also had the under on his assists at -110 over at DK. I mean, he just went ridiculous in the first game without Kyrie. And while he is going to be a huge part of this offense, both these numbers are just too high.
It's a tough bet. It's a tough bet under, because Durant, like you said, he's the usage monster. He's everything. Like, Simmons is questionable, or no, he's expected to play tonight, but 20 minutes. Of course, Simmons is not going to be taking many shots. Bad matchup against Dallas. Dallas plays super, super slow. I think they're the slowest in the league, if I'm not mistaken, right there with Philly. Let me just double check. Yeah, Dallas is the slowest team in the league. Philadelphia is second. And they also play middle of the road defense. I feel like they're a little bit better than that. You skipped over, I guess, do you have no bets in the New York-Minnesota game?
The lines weren't out when I first started betting this morning. I have more bets coming. Don't worry.
Okay. I just had a note on that game, which I thought was interesting.
Claxton under 8.5 rebounds. Bullock over 2.5 rebounds. -118 over FanDuel. Van Vliet under 18.5 points. We haven't projected for well under that. Van Vliet's obviously been in and out of the lineup. He's been injured.
That's a tricky one. Not to cut you off, but so he was out for 3 games, and then he came back, and then Nick Nurse is like, okay, you can stand. All right, you can play. You can play 39 minutes. There you go. Welcome back to the team. And now it's the back half of a back-to-back for Toronto. Of course, Pascal Siakam's out as well, too. And, it's going to be a really, really condensed rotation in Toronto. You know how it goes. It's the Toronto pieces of FEV and Barnes and OG Anunoby. Trent is the next guy, and then they have, the fringe pieces. But those guys are all going to play 36, 37, 38 minutes. I'm just curious how they handle FEV. Is it possible they sit him? Maybe. But, if he goes, there's potentially 40 minutes again in the cards for him. It's tricky. You'd think there'd be a little bit of mercy with Nick Nurse, but there's the ceiling on minutes is insane in Toronto. It's just kind of the point I'm making. And he did come back after 3 games off last night, and it's a back-to-back, so maybe he gets a few less minutes, but Nick Nurse, so I don't know.
Yeah, you really just never know. But I mean, he's averaged 15 points per game this season. Obviously, that'll increase with Siakam in there. He is a guy that can average more than that per game. So we'll see. I took the under. I also took the under on Vooch, 12.5 boards, minus 121 over at Caesars. It's weird. I kind of hit the over pretty often on him when it's at 11.5. And when it's at 12.5, I hit the under. Just kind of how it goes. New York bets. So I have I have two unders on this, both points, rebounds, assists. I have Barrett under 30.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 113 over at FanDuel. We currently have him projected for 28.56. I know it's a good matchup, but I don't care. And then I have the under for Randall, who I think is going to have some trouble in this spot. 35.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 120 over at MGM. What were the bets you were at?
Well, I like Barrett in this game. So NBA team opponent 3-pointers made per game, right? The team that gives up the most 3-pointers per game this season so far, the New York Knicks. The team that gives up the second most 3-pointers made so far this year, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we're going to see a lot of 3-point attempts in this game. No Rudy Gobert on the Minnesota side as far as, well, I mean, that's obviously he's not going to be defending the perimeter so much, but he's out. I like some 3-point overs in this game. So did you say under on Barrett for threes? What did you say under for?
Under on Barrett for points, rebounds, assists, and under on Randall.
Okay.
Randall, the big thing is it's at 35.5 minus 120 over at MGM. It's minus 125 at 34.5 at Caesars on the under. It's minus 130 on 33.5 over at PointsBet. At the same line, it's at minus 145 at DK, and it's all the way down to 32.5 over at FanDuel. So this is just MGM having a massive fudge up.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
I have the over on Edwards assists, 3.5. You probably don't like this one. I have the under of 25.5 points for Cat.
I mean, I think Cat's really well positioned in this game. Yeah, I think he's going to do his thing.
Apparently, I doubled down on Pirtle over 23.5 points, rebounds, assists. So we'll see. And I doubled down on Claxton, got the under of 22.5. LeBron James, he's not playing, so getting rid of that one. Paul George, under 38.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 113 over at FanDuel. George has been a little bit up and down. I think last we heard, we have no idea when
Kawhi's got no timetable. Like, it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't play again this year. I mean, again, who the hell knows? But they keep pushing it back, and they keep pushing it back, and keep playing games. Who knows? I mean, if he's back in a month, if he's back in 3 months, if he's never back.
Have we ever seen anything like this with a player?
Well, the thing is, last year, like, it was just kind of like, it was all fuzz. He didn't play a minute last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think he sat out the entire season.
He did not. Was it an ACL?
I thought it was a knee. Well, I guess ACL was knee, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's specifically ACL. What do we have?
It is ACL.
Okay. Yeah, and typically, you know, if it's just ACL, there's MCL, there's other things as well too. And I don't pretend to be a doctor, but typically, like, guys come back from an ACL, they can sometimes come back like in 7 or 8 months. You know.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's really interesting.
I mean, we've seen this from so many times before in his career. Just like
Hall of Famer, right? If he quits tomorrow, if he's done, Hall of Famer.
I don't know, because he only played 10 years.
But he has a good resume in that 10 years.
He does have a very good resume.
Toronto championship, San Antonio championship, right? At least one in San Antonio. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
I'd probably say so, but again, it's just been so. I believe he will be a Hall of Famer, because I don't think he's retiring for 4 or 5 years. He's only 31.
I know. I'm just making a hypothetical. Like, I'm not saying he's done. I have no idea. Just
yeah.
If he, for whatever reason, was done tomorrow. Like Grant Hill was a Hall of Famer, and he doesn't have the resume that
Grant Hill was injured a lot, but I think he still played till he was about 35. He played till he was 40. So that's.
But like, he had a lot of years where just nothing was really happening. Like, he was there, and he
had a lot of years where he played 4 games in 2000, didn't play in 2003, played 17 games in 2006. Like, he was fantastic when he was playing, but he just just injured constantly.
I feel like he had like 5 good years, Grant Hill.
Yeah, he played really well in Detroit, and then Orlando was fine. Phoenix wasn't great. But
San Antonio, where else did he go? I feel like he was in San Antonio.
It was Detroit, Orlando, Phoenix, and played 1 year, barely playing at 40 years old for the Clippers.
All right, not San Antonio. Never mind.
Yep. Those are my bets. And so you want to take it.
Let me throw something else at you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Another thing that's uncomfortable is betting unders on Warriors threes, right? All the Warriors are expected back. The fake injuries they gave those guys, they're all back. Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Green, the whole deal. Against Sacramento. It's an awesome game environment for what it's worth. Sacramento's a good opponent. But the way Sacramento's been playing defense this year is they have been inviting people to come into the paint. And that's one of the reasons why Sabonis gets a lot of fouls. He's not necessarily known as a rim protector, but that's kind of like what he's been forced to do. 3-pointers attempted per game, opponents. Sacramento allows the least amount of threes per game, 28.8. Fifth least made for what it's worth as well. I'm just throwing it out there that maybe bet some unders on like Steph Curry threes or Klay Thompson threes.
I'll take the over. I'll take the over for our bet.
It's a well, I don't know what the number is, to be honest, but
4.5 for Steph Curry.
What's the juice out of curiosity?
-135 is the best line on the under, plus 120 is the best juice on the over. So I'm giving you a good bet. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I'll take the under in 4.5.
What movie am I going to make you watch?
I was so mad at you last night. Like, we talked very briefly on the phone. I know you were busy, so I guess that's why you made it quick. But I had you watch The Casino. And first of all, did I say The Casino? Casino. Shame on you for never seeing Casino in your entire life. And I asked you what you thought of it. Like, yeah, it was okay. And that was your review of Casino, like one of the best movies we've seen in our entire lives. So mad.
Yeah,
that's all you got. Like, is there anything else you want to add? Like, you didn't think it was spectacular?
That was good. Will I watch it again? Maybe.
You should.
Maybe.
I feel like you didn't watch it the first time. You sat there and watched it, or you were playing on your phone the whole time? You're playing on your phone.
No, I watched it.
And you have that's your takeaway?
Yeah. I went to Vegas right afterwards, too.
It wasn't like the movie, obviously the movie took place in a different time, but yeah.
Yeah, it was solid. That's it.
It's so disappointing. What other movies? I'll throw something your way. I was talking today on the old Twitter about The Station Agent. You've probably never seen that before.
The what?
The Station Agent.
No.
Bobby Cannavale. We got Peter Dinklage. You know Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's starring him. It's very good. Michelle Williams has a small part in it. That's what I'll throw your way. It's like a drama / comedy.
Oh yeah, you're talking about it because you still haven't seen
The Watcher.
Yeah, I watched the second half of it. It was solid.
What do you mean you watched the second half of it?
I have a wife who started watching it, and I came in halfway through. So
okay, I mean I can't do that, but okay.
Yeah,
you watched the Pulp Fiction style. Did you go back and watch the first half or no?
No. You watching the second half, she explained things to me. I'm like, all right, what the heck's going on? And she would explain it to me, so I got pretty much everything from it.
Without spoiling anything, what I gather, I know it's based on a true story. I know they manipulated the true story for dramatic purposes, which is that's what all movies do. Rudy was offsides, and they didn't do the whole Jersey thing. That was all a lie. Ask Joe Montana; he'll tell you. So, did you like it? And did you hate the ending? Because a lot of people hated the ending. And there's a season 2 that's what started the conversation. Would you watch season 2? Would you like to?
I'll watch season 2.
Okay.
No, I didn't hate the ending. Now that I realize it's a true story, and yeah, watch it and then read up on the true story. It's wild. Yeah,
I don't want to know anything about it. I want to go in cold. I do know that people, and I read about this accidentally, but apparently. It's a tourist attraction. Like everybody's checking out that house in real life. Like a lot of people are driving by and it's like a big nuisance in the block.
Yeah, I looked up the Zillow. I checked to see what the price was of it. But yeah, we'll talk more once you watch it.
Yeah. I like the cast. So yeah. What movie you can have me watch? You'll figure it out. You're not going to win this bet anyway. It doesn't matter.
I'll figure it out. I'll just give you the Cuck movie.
Oh, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Which is out of context. Yeah, the one that's on Hulu from Billy
Yeah.
Corbin. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would watch that anyways. But yeah, okay, fair enough. That works for me. Thank you. You're being nice. Thank you. And you thought that was good. Like it was your same review you gave Casino?
It was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
It was well done. It was interesting. It's a subject that I found interesting, like a wild story. It's true. So
Billy Corbin's guide to the Cocaine Cowboys. Have you ever saw one of those documentaries?
I don't think I ever did.
Cocaine Cowboys are really, and also he did if you remember the 30 for 30, he did the U. Like he's a big Miami Hurricanes fan.
Oh yeah.
He did at least one of those. And there's two. I think he did one, maybe both. But Billy Corbin's really good. Very good documentary, and so I assume this is good as well.
Thanks.
Vastly different subjects.
Yeah, but that's it. I'm not going to be back tomorrow because there's no NBA and there's no football. So
there's a bunch of NHL.
Huh?
You can pronounce a bunch of hockey guys.
I could try. I could bet on hockey, but I've worked like 20 days in a row, so
no. I take a day off. You know what? As your non-boss, I give you permission. I insist. Take a
if you
mental.
were my boss, I might quit. Actually, no. You could never lay down the hammer, so I just do anything I wanted.
What do you mean I can never lay down the hammer? Why do you say that?
You wouldn't be with me. You wouldn't be able to lay down the hammer.
Well, I don't want to fire you.
Yeah. I'm too intimidating to you.
No, you're a teddy bear. You're kind of imposing, but the people know behind the scenes.
Plus, I always get all my crap done.
You're good at your job too. Yeah, I guess I buried the lead.
I'm the best around. No one's gonna bring me down.
And you modest as well, which is the other thing people like about you.
All right. Yep, greatest of all time. That's me. I need to go shower because I haven't showered yet today because I got up at 7 and have not stopped working at all. Outside of to clean up puppy blood.
Oh, I hope Doc feels better.
Yeah, he's still.
Let me know if Doc's is okay.
He's fine. I mean, it's not broken. It's a broken nail. It's not broken too high. It's just it bleed. I'm gonna see how. I've got a sock around it. I'll be putting some antibiotics on it, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, he's not in pain.
He's not showing it.
Yeah.
He just had to try and get those darn squirrels taunting him.
It wasn't the what was the animal that was lurking when I was hanging out? What did we see by your? Geez, why am I forgetting? What wild animal? What was it?
He's been chasing a lot of them. He tried to take out our neighbor's squirrel.
No, but there was like fierce animals in your neighbor's yard. What was it? Why can't I think of what it was? Like something you'd see out in the wilderness, like a deer.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't remember the words.
Stag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're just having we could be talking like this on the phone.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's been fun. We're out of here. Later, kids.